Okay, good morning, everybody. It's good to see everybody here. Thank you again for joining us. Turn on your cameras if you can. It's always good to see here everybody and participate as you can. If you have questions along the way with what we're doing, you can throw them in the chat, or we'll see how Rob wants to do it. Rob, if you want to take questions along the way or at the end or whatever, however you want to work this, the floor is yours. So definitely, we appreciate you being here. So, guys, Rob Sandefur, he's down in Texas. Started out back in new home sales way back in the day, 2005, and started doing typical like residential real estate 2011. Been with EXP now for 5 years. Been an icon for 4 years. Are you on your way to a fifth, Rob? You gonna hit it again?
We hope so.
Yeah, there you go. We're all
Yes.
we're all working for it. So doing a lot of production, but just really an expert because of his background with the new home sales. When I saw what he had done and some other trainings he's done, I thought, man, let's bring him in here because that's just a hot topic right now. A lot of the builders are offering all kinds of stuff, incentives to get buyers in there, and a lot of builders I know here in the Springs, if a buyer goes in without you, you can definitely get cut out of that deal. And there's just ways to work that and to educate your buyers on the importance of needing an agent, all that kind of stuff. We're going to hit all that here today, I'm sure. So, Rob, I'm going to turn it over to you. I got my pen and pad and ready to take notes. And we appreciate you being here, man. Seriously, I know you're busy and got a lot going on. So, one of the things I love about EXP, everybody just pouring into each other, no matter where we fall in the group. So, everybody sharing all kinds of stuff. So, it's great to have you here, man. Appreciate it. Okay,
Well, thank you, Jeff. I'm very
sure.
honored to be here, very honored that you asked me to do this. And I certainly don't ever want to come across as someone who knows it all, because I'm still learning, and there's a whole lot of things that I can learn from each and every one of you. Um, Something about me. So I have been in real estate for 20 years. Again, the first few years as a new home sales representative, and I worked for a few builders. One of the major builders that I did work for is Meritage Homes. I also worked for Richmond American Homes when they were down here in Texas. I believe that they are based out of Colorado. So worked with them. My wife Becky is on the call today, and she'll be helping me. And I believe she's going to be sharing our screen and showing our notes. We have been married for, golly, 41 years. So we're old.
Holy cow, Rob.
Yeah. And we have
Congratulations
two,
on that. That's awesome.
thank you. We have two grandsons, and some of our favorite pastime is taking our kids, who are also grown, and our two grandsons to Disney World every year down in Florida. So we try to get away from the hustle and bustle and enjoy a little bit of time, together. The way I became a realtor, I was leaving my new home sales office one day, and in my community, and people were stopping me. They were honking their horns, they were waving, and I thought, man, I've got instant friends here. And one of them pulled me over and said, "Hey, not right now, but I'm thinking of selling my home." And I said, "So great. So when are you going to sell your home?" They said, "Well, in about a year. But do you know of a good realtor?" And I've been thinking of it for a while. So I said, hold that thought and I'll get back to you. And so I went out and I took my real estate exams, got my real estate license, and I began to farm the area, sending out over 2,200 postcards a month to one area to build up my clientele. Again, I had a warm market because I had sold those people their homes, and now they were at a stage of wanting to move up, get rid of the home, but they were going to need a realtor. And I thought, well, I could go ahead and not only be the person who sold them their first home, but also sell them their next few or several homes, and that's worked out really well. I've kept in touch with those clients, sent them birthday cards, postcards, called them on a regular basis, have gone out and had coffee, with them. And because of that, one referral turned into another and into another. And as all of us know, probably, warm contacts are better than cold leads. One of the things I like to let people know, clients, that when you go into a new home sales office, if you do not have a realtor, you're going into a new home sales office without representation. And so it's always a good thing to have representation. And with the new laws that have come out with our clients, before we show them a home, they have to sign a buyer's representation with us. So we want to go ahead and get our clients from the very beginning to sign a buyer's representation form. And one of the ways that we can do that is, I tend to try to build value in myself by letting them know that there's over 100 moving pieces to every real estate contract. And because I've done this every day of my life over and over and over again, I'm going to know what those 100 moving pieces are better than a novice just going in and trying to figure it all out for themselves. So you build that value into yourself, letting them know that you'll be with them every step of the way. And you let them know that the new home sales representative represents the builder. One of the reasons that I got into being a realtor is I found myself really wanting to represent the buyer. I wanted to represent the people. And when people hear you say that, they really like that. Instead of representing the company, I want to represent you. I want to represent the people. Now, the salesperson, the new home salesperson, they're not bad people, and we never want to paint them into a corner as being a bad person or someone who is not, ethical. But the new home salesperson's job is to hold the builder's bottom line. They're there to make as much money for the builder as they possibly can. I just talked to a new home salesperson this past couple of weeks, and he said, Rob, right now we're just trying to keep the lights on and the doors open. So they're offering all different kinds of incentives. So they're not bad people, but they're going to do their best to hold the bottom line. Our job as realtors is to represent our buyers and get as much for them as we possibly can. So first of all, in able to do that, now legally or ethically, we have to have them sign a buyer's representation agreement. Also, some people don't realize when you go into a new home sales office, your realtor commission is automatically built into the price of a new home. So it's not costing the builder anymore for the client to have a realtor or not have a realtor. And guess what? If they don't have a realtor, they're not going to give them 3% off because they don't have a realtor. Okay, so no discount for not having a realtor. And the very first thing that they're going to want your client to do when they get there is to fill out a registration card. Now, when they do that, I say, oh, here, let me help you with that. And I may put my buyer's name on there, but then I'm going to put my name and my phone number on the registration card so that when they call somebody, they're going to call me instead of my buyer. Because I think, well, my buyers, they don't want, if we visit 10, new home sales offices one Saturday, they don't want 10 different salespeople calling them and trying to get them on contract. So I let them call me because I'm representing my client. The builders are depending on this being a very emotional decision. So what they're going to do is they're going to flood their model homes with all kinds of upgrades, the latest and the greatest granite or quartz or, you know, um, you know, faucets, handles, carpet. They're just going to put the best of the best in there to try to get your client emotionally attached. And that's what they're depending on. And then what they're going to do is they're going to guide your client through the model home. And they have a process of asking closing questions for every room they go into. Can you see you and your family having Thanksgiving in this kitchen around this dining room table? Does this bedroom look like little Johnny would love it? What do you think of this backyard? Isn't that big enough for the pool that you mentioned you would love to have? And they're gonna ask you, isn't that right? Is that good? What do you think of that? And they're going to try to close your client every step of the way. So I'm sure to walk through every room with my client as they're asking their closing questions, because I'm going to, in the end, ask some closing questions for my client. Again, right now, builders are giving 10, 30,000 in incentives. Some of them are offering rate buy downs to get your client tied to them, and they're going to want to try to make your client make a decision that very day, because they don't want your client going to 9 other new home builders. So what I like to do is I like to ask a closing question myself. When we're walking through and they're telling us what they can do, then I kind of let them know, you know what? Builder B down the street does the same thing, you know? So what else can you do that sets you apart from builder B? And so I like to ask that question. What else sets you apart? Because again, we're out to get the very best home from the very best builder for the very best price. Okay. So what else can you do that sets you apart? Now your buyers may feel a little intimidated to ask that question. So we want to do the heavy lifting for our client. So we'll go ahead and ask that question. Now, one of the things that I do like to do before I bring my client to that sales office, if I know I've got an appointment and we're going to go to that sales office, I like to visit that sales office up front before I bring my client out. And I might bring a Starbucks gift card, you know, something to establish a warm rapport with that new home salesperson, because I know that I'm going to ask them some hard questions and I already want them to feel that it's coming from someone who's being friendly and not someone who is being combative, you know, uh, so I'd like to visit it the day before or a couple of days before, bring them a Starbucks card, something, and just introduce myself and let them know, hey, I've got an appointment. I wanted to confirm that with you. You are going to be here. You're the one I should talk to, right? And of course, if they have a partner in that new home sales office, then you've just, you know, kind of warmed up to them. They've warmed up to you. And so then when you come in, you ask, you know, for them. Then I do have 15 questions that I do like to ask the home builder. And so, and I believe Jeff Becky can send these to you later, and then you can share it with everyone that's joined our call today. But number one question I like to ask the builder is, how many years have you been in business? And how many homes do you build a year? Okay. Are you licensed? Are you insured? Most builders are, you know, today. And again, how do you compare yourself to other builders? And what are the most important benefits of owning a home that your builder builds? Okay. What type of new home warranty do you offer? In days past, they would offer a 10-year structural warranty. I know here in Texas, that's gone down to a 6-year structural warranty. So you'll want to find out what type of warranty do you offer. Here in Texas, the grounds shift. So in the first year to 18 months after a person moves into their home, you could see some cosmetic sheetrock, you know, cracks. And a lot of builders will come in the 10th month and repair those things for the client. So you'll want to find out if the builder you bring your client to, what type of warranty do you come in at the 10th month or the 5th month to repair anything that's wrong with the home, okay? Can you give me references from prior home buyers, okay, that you've built a home for? Getting references really can make your client feel comfortable moving forward with that builder or not, okay? And what are the major energy saving features of the home you build? Now, one of the reasons that this is very important is because people have a budget in mind. I can only afford so much per month. But if you get a home that's built with total foam encapsulation, that can actually lower your monthly electric bill by over $100, $200 a month. When my wife and I moved from a home that we had built in 2005, 2006 to a home that we built 4.5 years ago. The first home we built did not have total foam encapsulation, and our electric bill in the summer was over $500. When we moved to our home with total foam encapsulation, our electric bill went down to $130 to $150. So a few $100 could make a difference on which home, which plan your buyers choose. Okay. Number 7 is, do you build only from home plans that you supply, or can I supply my own set of plans? Most production builders will build from their own set of plans. Only if you're using a custom builder would they let you submit your own custom plans to build from? And then because your buyers walked through their model home and they saw all the upgrades, we might think that all of these things are standard. This just comes with that base price of the home. So what you want to ask is, what standard features do your home include? And what options and upgrades can I select? Okay. And then if they have a price list, then you might want to ask them, well, what is the price of your upgraded granite? What is the price of your upgraded quartz? You know, the oil rub bronze handles and what, you know, all of that. So that would give your buyer kind of an idea of what base price of home they need to be looking at if they want to add 30,000 in upgrades. Okay. And then the ninth question that I ask is, who will oversee the construction of my home? And who should I contact with questions that I may have? So a lot of times we'll go in, we'll meet the new home sales person. But once construction begins, there will be a pre-construction meeting, and you'll meet with the builder, who's actually the superintendent, who's actually going to schedule general contractors to build the home. Well, you want to find out when you can visit that, because a lot of home builders say during construction time, you can't visit the home because construction sites are dangerous. Other builders will say, if you come by the office and get a hard hat, you can go in and you can visit the home. And I know when I was building a home, I wanted to visit it every day, if not, you know, I mean, at least every other day, because I wanted to see, you know, what was going on and how they were building my home. And one of the main things that caught me off guard in the beginning when we were building our first home, I went out and I stood on the foundation of my home and I said, there is absolutely no way that this foundation is big enough for the home that I bought. It just looked so tiny. And so, man, I called my salesperson and I said, you're building the wrong home on my lot. And he started laughing. He goes, Rob, you're comparing your foundation to the world. Wait till we get walls up and the rooms will actually, you know, look so much bigger. And so that's something that, you know, you need to know, and your client may have the same worries, the same concerns. Hey, they're building the wrong home. Wait a minute, you know, let's go out and take a look. Okay. So you'll want to find out if they have a builder and he may only want to be contacted certain hours, because if you contact him during any hour of the day, he's too busy answering phone calls to get your home built. So you want to find out and get a number, you know, when you can call and who to ask the questions to. Number 10, how and when can I make changes or upgrades before or during construction? Most new home builders will say, if we're building a home, once construction begins, no changes, because they're going to have to jump through a lot of hoops, go through a lot of red tape, especially if permits have been pulled, and of course they have. So they say no changes or upgrades after construction begins. Okay. Question 11, how and when will I know the final price of my home? See, that's very important. I know a few years back, and some of you may have experienced this as well. I won't mention the builder, but I got my client on a new home, and it was 3 days before closing, and I hadn't heard, so I called him. I said, "Hey, is our closing still set up for Friday at 9 o'clock?" And they said, "Well, we were going to call you. Um, we actually cannot sell your client the home for the price that she contracted for, because building materials have gone up. So now that home is going to cost her $30,000 more." I said, you can't do that. We have a signed contract. They said, well, builders' contracts are geared toward the builder, where the contracts that we use in real estate are geared toward the buyer. So he said, yeah, we can do that. And so, however, we have a smaller home down the street that we can sell her for the same price. So we just want to be aware that sometimes builders have a clause written in that they can raise the price if building materials go up. So we will want to find out which builders do that and which builders don't. And of course, I would lean toward the builders who don't do that, you know. Okay. Number 12, how often and when will I have access to the home during the building process? That's a very good question to ask. That kind of goes along with the other question there. But we want to know when we'll have access. Once once appliances get put in the home, the builder tends to lock the home. And that's for a good reason. So those appliances don't walk off and disappear. So you'll want to go by the sales office and maybe get a key to be able to walk your clients through the home during that process. And then another good question to find out is, how long will it take to build my new home? In years past, and the builders I worked for, it would take 4 to 5 months, maybe 6. Today, it's taking 8 to 12 to 14 months, to build a home. So if you're listing your client's home and they have to get that sold before they move into their new home, this would be a very good question to ask and answer to have, so that you kind of know when to market your client's, home, unless they're just going to move into a friend's house or into an apartment for a while. So number 14, does the community have a homeowners association or an architectural review committee? And if so, can I get the rules and what the fees are for the HOA? So if you have a customer who's looking and they're going to purchase an oversized lot because they want to put a work, shop in the back, and it's a big workshop. Well, you need to find out if the homeowner association allows workshops and what the construction would need to be if they do. Sometimes they say the construction of the workshop needs to match the construction of the house, and the roof on the workshop needs to match the roof on the house. So this could go into extra expenses that your client wasn't figuring on if we don't ask those questions. And number 15, what's your inspection process at key points of construction and at the final walkthrough? And then we need to be ready to address any needs that need to be corrected or finalized before we go to closing. So I like to do a walkthrough with my clients a week before, and then I like to do a walkthrough with my clients the day of closing, just to be sure that those things have been done. And if they haven't been done, then we don't go to closing. In the new home building process, there's 3 meetings that are very important. And one of them is a pre-construction meeting. So you'll meet with the builder where you'll go over the plans, you'll go over the structural options. And like sometimes in new home builder plans, a study in a home could also be a 4th bedroom. So you want to be sure that the builder didn't build a bedroom for your client instead of a study with double French doors. Okay. A game room. Sometimes game rooms are additions to upstairs. I know one builder, it was 20,000 to add a game room, and that was a whole room up there. It wasn't, the room's not there. They're just going to put that room up there. But if they build the home structurally wrong, then they can't put that game room up there. Today, down here in Texas anyway, 3rd car garages are very important. So you want to be sure that they built your client's home with the 3rd car garage that they wanted. Then after the pre-construction meeting, down the road, there's a pre-sheetrock meeting. And I go to this meeting as well. I like to go to the pre-sheetrock meeting because this is before the sheetrock goes up, and any wiring, that extra wiring that your client has asked for, like maybe they wanted, a cable outlet, which I know we don't need those anymore, but a cable outlet above the fireplace because they're going to put their TV there. Or maybe they wanted an extra can light that's going to shine on a picture above their fireplace. So it's much easier to show the builder at this time that, hey, you missed this and you need to add that. Much easier right now than after they get sheetrock on the walls. And then again, the final walk, excuse me. The final walk before closing is really an orientation of the home. And the builder is going to walk through with you and your clients and show them kind of how the home works and the sprinkler system and the settings, and where the cleanouts, are for the plumbing. And he'll give you a list of general contractors to call in case you do have an AC issue, a plumbing, issue, those types of things. So you'll want to be at all of these. See, every step of the way, if you're present with your client, walking through these processes, not only are you making sure that your client is being taken care of, but you're also building future business because they're going to tell their friends and their family, my realtor was with me all the way. Okay. And so we got to understand that they're about to make one of the largest financial decisions of their life. Now, I remember being in new home sales. And when I was in new home sales, our builder made us dress in nice dress slacks, nice dress shirt, and a tie. And I'm not saying that as realtors we have to dress in ties, especially if it's 80 or 90 degrees, outside. But I do remember one time a realtor came in and he was dressed in shorts and a t-shirt, and it looked like he just got out of bed. And he was bringing his clients into my sales office. Now he's going to help his client negotiate one of the biggest financial decisions of their life, looking like he just crawled out of bed in shorts and a t-shirt. So I would always recommend that we look as professional as we possibly can. And, and when we go in, then we're dressed to talk business. We're dressed to negotiate hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we're going to be taken more serious if we look the part and sound the part. So we want to dress right. Again, meet the new home sales consultant before bringing your client in. Know the builder's processes. So if he misses something, you can actually help remind him, oh, the other day when I came in, you said that you also did this. And they'll go, oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. And then also what I like to do is take pictures in each stage of the process to send to my clients. Again, this is preparing yourself for future business, because they're going to look back and they're going to say, hey, remember the day that we first went and saw the lot? And I like to take a picture of them standing on the lot that they chose. Then when they pour the foundation, I'm out there taking a picture. When they frame the home, I'm taking a picture. When they put the sheetrock on, I'm framing the picture. And then on closing day, I actually go to the closing with my clients to the title company. Then I go back to the new home sales office to get the keys. And then I say, hey, let me take a picture. Let me take the first picture of you walking into your new house for the first time of it being yours. And so I do that. And those are pictures that I send to them throughout the years just to remind them, hey, remember this day? And so I like to say that the best defense is a great offense. So know the details, know the builder's processes, be able to talk to your clients, with as much detail as the new home sales person can. Keep track of the building processes and dates, and let your client know they're never going to walk through any part of this process without you. Know that we're building a home for their family and this is their dream. A lot of times as a new home salesperson, we get into the process of thinking, oh, it's just sticks and bricks. Well, not to our clients. It's their home. It's their dream. It's what they've saved for. So you want to treat your clients like they're worth $1 million. And again, go to the closing, go to every meeting, the builder meeting, the pre-sheetrock, the final walk, and the closing. And that way you create clients for life. Again, I think that we are our clients' greatest advocates, and we're not here for a one-time commission. We're here to make a friend. We're here to help them all the years of their life, and hopefully, when their kids grow up, we're still in the business, and we'll help them as well. Also, being able to go to the closing, right there, that's a great opportunity. After the papers are signed, you take a picture at the title company. And then again, even though you may have given them multiple business cards, just give them another card and let them know, hey, I know that I've given you one of these, but this card is for a friend of yours. This card is for a family member. If you hear of anyone talking at work in the next couple of weeks, give them my card, let them know I'd be happy to help them. like I've helped you. So at this time, if we have any questions, I would like to go ahead and answer those if I can.
For sure, Rob. There's a couple in here. I've got a couple comments I can make here too. But let me get Kimberly. Can you unmute yourself? Are you able to? There you go. Why don't you
I'm
go ahead and
here.
ask your question? Okay.
Okay, great, thanks. So, what if the build is already, almost finished or finished? How can we get the builders to change things or, do the walkthroughs? I sold one, there was some things that weren't, correct, but there's really no way to look at wiring or, any of that stuff. So what would you recommend our process be if they were buying one that was already almost done or done?
That's a great question. And I just sold one a few weeks ago that was inventory home, and we walked through the home. We did go get on contract, and then we scheduled a walkthrough with the builder, and we pointed different things out. When I walked through the home with my clients the first time, I noticed a few things before we even went on contract. So when we sat down with the new home sales consultant, I told him we need these things taken care of and these things fixed and repaired. And so we made sure that he put that in writing, on a to-do list with the contract. Okay. There's no way at that point in time that we can check behind the walls, but what I did recommend to my clients is go ahead and get a home inspection done. So always get a home inspection done, and never say, oh, you don't really need a home inspection because this is a new home build. No, we never say that, because that can come back, on us, because our client, if something happens later on, 2 weeks, a month, a year down the road, they say, well, you told me I didn't need a home inspection.
Oh,
So we
yeah,
need to tell them that. Always recommend they
never
get,
ever.
yeah, always recommend they get a home inspection. So that's
Yep.
the way we take care of the things behind the walls that we can't see.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
If I could add there, Kimberly, like I've had a couple of customers and with new construction situations, I've had them, and I just coordinate with the builder, and every builder has been okay that this has come up, where before drywall, my buyer wants to bring in a third party inspector to inspect kind of before pre-drywall. So potentially that's an option if your buyer is interested. I don't bring it up and recommend it, but if I have a buyer that seems to be concerned and mentions like, how am I going to know behind the wall, blah, blah, blah. Like if my buyer brings it up, then I say, I can see if they'll allow you to have a pre-inspection. And then I would recommend another one at the end as well, kind of to what he's talking about. But just a thought, I've done that a couple of times over my years in real estate, when buyers have expressed concerns about what might be behind the wall that's never going to be seen.
The multiple
Right.
inspections.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I've sold a lot of new builds over the years, and I always highly recommend. I mean, I don't just recommend, I highly recommend that they get an inspection. It's amazing some of the things that we've found over the
Oh, for
years
sure.
that just blow you away. That you would, I mean, I almost think it's more important with a new build than it is with a resale. I'm not going to say
Right.
that, but it's as if not more important with a new build.
Oh, I'm the same way. I
Oh,
definitely.
yeah.
And
For
we
sure.
all have horror stories, but I heard one years ago, this wasn't mine. And ever since this, I tell every one of my new construction clients this story. Like buyer goes to build a brand new house, moves in, didn't do a home inspection, evidently. They go to sell it, and new buyer comes in to do a home inspection. New buyer does a home inspection, find what the inspector told them was the pipe to the shower, the master shower, had never been connected. So every
Oh,
time
God.
people lived in that house taking a shower, water was going into their crawl space. And so anyway, so how that inspector knew it never had been connected or not, but the house wasn't very old anyway. I heard that story years ago, and it was supposedly never connected from the beginning. It's like, it's just worth it. It's the biggest investment you're ever going to make. So kind of to, everybody's point, just like, you need to get an inspection on this new house.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard a horror story of a wrench being in the sewer pipe on a brand new build. So, yeah, crazy stuff. I always recommend an inspection no matter what. But yeah, I just curious because there's a lot of new builds going in, and I sold my first new build last year, but it was already built. So, it was this one of the spec homes, and so I was just curious.
So real quick, Abiola, I don't know if you can unmute yourself. You have a question. When can I get a home inspector involved? Did that get answered in just this discussion right here?
Um, I logged in late, so I'm not really sure if it had already been answered, but I have a client that will be signing for a new building in, I think, first week in July, we were told by the builder rep. And I had told her all along, if you cannot advance the payment, I will, then I can be reimbursed at closing, but I cannot sell a house without a home inspector. So being a new agent, I really want to know what the builders are doing is at least they've done to the foundation level before they start advertising in McKinney. So when after the foundation can I start, with this inspector?
Any thoughts on that, Rob? Like how soon could you get a home inspector involved? Does it depend on the builder, or is that really, I mean, most builders are going to let you bring an inspector in anytime along the way? Like, or what
Yeah,
do you,
I
what are
think
your
it
thoughts
depends
on that?
on the builder, but I think that to move from a foundation, okay, into a framing, the builder has to get green tags and they have to get permits all along the way.
Right.
I'm not sure how effective it would be to start an inspection, a home inspection at the foundation stage.
Right.
I would wait till the home is pretty near completion and get an inspection at then. Either you could do it at your pre-sheetrock, have the inspector come out, and then do another one after it's complete. But getting it too soon, I don't think would be much benefit.
Yeah, right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And
I
there are going to
wonder
be, I
if there,
mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, thank you. I wonder if there's any inspectors out there that have a knowledge of new builds that would do like continual inspections. If they were smart, they'd be like, I represent people who are buying new builds and we'll do 3 inspections for the cost of like 1.5 or something. And they come at special times to do different inspections. Anybody ever heard of that?
Actually, the guy I'm speaking with, he works with my son and I because we used to flip before I got my license. And I asked him about it. I said, "You're going to McKinney on a new build." He said, "Oh, I got that before." And I could ask him if he would want to talk, or something like that, or tell me what the stages are appropriate for him, and I can bring it back.
Or perhaps if we have I'm in northern Colorado, and it looks like I have some buyers that are looking at new builds in like the Loveland area. And a lot of them already are built. There's no options to choose from kind of thing. But I wonder if there are ways to negotiate with our inspectors that we have a good relationship with, just to say, hey, if ever I have a new build, would you be willing to do this? And if so, what would you charge, kind of thing?
I just literally did this a month ago in that scenario I explained, with the new build. My buyer wanted to get one pre-finish. And so my inspector just charged normally it's like $350 to $400 for a full inspection. To go out there for the pre-drywall scenario, it was $150 because they don't have as much to inspect yet, right? So, and then they were going to pay for a full inspection. No, they were going to pay, regular price at the end of construction, which is the end of this month. And so, but just going out there for a pre-drywall inspection, it's usually a whole lot cheaper because they're not doing the full blown thing. I don't know if that helps or not, but I'll just ask your inspector, hey, if you do a pre-drywall, what would you charge for that? Knowing you're going to go back and do a full blown one, at completion also.
I think what Rob brought up is really important in this conversation, is getting me to think that, yes, I press for having them do for my buyers to do an inspection. They don't necessarily choose to do that or not based on expense, etc. But this idea of, once the house is done and you have an inspection and there's this major problem, like the drain from the master shower is not connected to the actual drain out, then it's almost too late. Then they got to go in and tear out and redo all this finish work. So thank you for getting me to think about this, Rob.
Thank you.
It makes me wonder, would it be worth, and I'm trying to think if we've done this, where it's like, you emphasize the need for an inspection. It's up to them whether they get one. If they choose not to get one, is it worth having a piece of paper where, they even just sign off on that? You know what I mean? In that sense, and you just have that in that file so that if a year or two from now comes up, there's water leaking downstairs.
I've never in 25 years, I don't think, ever had somebody not do a new construction home
Right.
inspection.
Right.
Because I'm like, Steve, like I almost mandated of them. I'm like, every time I tell that story, it scares them. So I'm like, this is the biggest investment you're ever gonna make. It's $350, $400 for you to do an inspection. Like, here's the story that and there's many others I can share with you. And when I tell them that horror story, they're like, okay, makes sense. If they ever were giving me pushback, to begin with.
Yeah, for sure.
But to your point, to protect ourselves, it may not be a bad thing if they don't want to.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good idea, Jeff, because if we have a piece of paper, a form that they sign saying that they're declining an inspection, then that may make them double think and go, well, if he thinks it's that important enough for me to sign this paper, maybe I should get one.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we do that with resales. I mean, if somebody wants to go in and waive the inspection contingency, we always say no. And then I always get an email or something written up that just does say that. It says, look, I do not recommend buying this home without an inspection, period. And if you choose to go, you just reply back to me that you don't care and you want to move forward. That way you're covered.
Just something, in writing in case it would ever come back,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's pinching pennies right now. Everybody's watching their money. I could see where they would think, oh, we just don't need to do it. Whatever, money's tight. Let's just hang tight. We can spend that $400 on new curtains in the house or whatever. I mean, just, different ways people would think, whatever, but just have something there to protect ourselves if it would ever come back up. One of the things, and not to get off topic, we can keep going on this if we need to, but I think it's so important. And Robbie, you can talk to this, you mentioned this, but just the education we need to give to our clients in terms of just the process and all that kind of stuff, but how much they need representation. Because everybody you're going to talk to from beginning to end, clear up through the walkthrough, they're all working for the builder. They're all paid by the builder.
Yes.
They're all, they're looking out for the builder. You need somebody looking out for you, and it's not going to add any cost to the home. I think that's one of the big things is like, well, we can cut the realtor out. We're going to get a better deal, and just to educate the people that you're not getting a better deal. The cost is built into the price of this home.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about that now, with this new NAR and all of that. So, Rob, what are you, because I really haven't processed through that with new construction per se, because that is what I've always said, what you're talking about.
Right.
But with this new change, and now, I don't know, like, Rob, what are you expecting or what are you seeing, if anything, right now, where if builders are starting to not offer buyer compensation? Are you seeing any change with that on new construction yet? Or in your conversations with these builders, have you started asking them what their position is going to be?
So right now, what I'm seeing is builders are continuing to offer quite a bit of incentives for the buyers to come in. A lot of builders have built, and I'm not going to say overbuilt, but they built a lot of homes, and there are more homes sitting, at least in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, than I have seen in recent years past. So right now, the builders are offering great incentives to try to get realtors to come in. A lot of builders are not only giving 10 to 20,000 in incentives, but they're also offering $5,000 realtor bonuses to bring your client in. So in saying that, one of the ways that, and I don't know how any of you feel about this, but one of the ways that I like to maybe, even though we have a buyer's representation, but I like to tie myself to my client as well on the contract, I may offer a small portion of my bonus or commission to help with closing costs if what the builder's giving doesn't quite help them enough. And in offering just a little bit of something like that, it keeps you connected and tied to that contract and to that client. Also, that gives kind of another testimony for you when they start talking to their friends and relatives about their realtor. Hey, my realtor helped me, with this. So, so I like to solidify myself and tie myself to that by just giving a little something to my client.
So Rob, I got a question for you about, we were talking about how builders can sometimes change the final price. Have you ever experienced them trying to change up their incentives to the buyer broker? Maybe lower. I mean, have they ever done that or?
So some builders, like, are you asking about lowering the realtor's commission?
Yes.
Yes. So some builders, they have to start off in the beginning and to let you know that they can't in midstream change your compensation. But there are some builders who will only pay a realtor 1% commission. And now them paying me the 1% commission is not necessarily why I would not take my client, to that builder. But what they also have done there is they've tied your hands and limited you from being able to maybe help your client with any part of your commission. So so I think that I look at that up front, just to see what builders are doing that. Also, the builders who normally do things like that are they're not very lucrative, so they're pinching every penny. So if they're pinching pennies there, then what other pennies have they pinched on building your client's home? So that may be something to look at like that.
So that makes sense. But with the new NAR ruling, when you lock in your commission, say it's 15,000, and then they decide later on, well, we're going to throw you an additional bone here or there, we would have to pass that off to the client, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Yep.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If they're throwing you something extra. Yeah.
One thing I want to talk about real quick, and Rob, maybe you have some thoughts on this, but ways to pick up more clients, ways to get leads, marketing maybe towards buyers who would be interested in new builds. One of the things, and just to share, like one of the things that I saw, there's a friend of mine, he's an EXP agent down in Texas also, and he went out to builders and basically went into the sales office and just found out what are the different incentives that you have in place right now. What are you offering to buyers? Talking about the rate buy downs and all these different things. And then he just basically went out in the street with his phone. He walked down the street, and just filming himself, doing a quick video. It's very quick. It's probably a minute and a half tops. Just saying, hey, if you're a buyer and whatever, you're stuck right now because of the interest rates, whatever. I just want you to know right here, this home, right here, I'm out here in this community and this home, they're offering a rate right now a buy down. You can get this rate down to 4.5%. Here'd be your monthly payment with this much down, and just kind of talking them through the different things. They're offering, even a quick look in the home. Here's the granite counters, the quartz counters. Here's the different things. These are included. You're also getting a full landscaping package. Normally that's $10,000. They're throwing that into the deal. Just talking through, and went down through that, and then ran that. Basically posted that in Facebook. He had people leading back to a landing page that they built through KV Core, which we all have if you're part of EXP. So he could capture their email, their phone, whatever. And then he had them, here's the information on maybe this neighborhood, but now he gets the lead from that. So now he can call them and set up a time to talk to them, meet with them, do a Zoom with them, whatever, to try and pick them up as, as a client, to now let's go look at these homes, whatever. And so just different ways to market, to bring in some of these people, because you do have a lot of buyers right now sitting on the sidelines because of the rates, and well, we hear the rates might be falling later this year. Of course, prices continue to go up. So there's all these different things that they're trying to figure out. There's just a lot of people right now sitting back. Do you have any thoughts on maybe ways like what I just said? I think is a good way to get people thinking of how could I bring in some leads like this, buyers who might be sitting on the sidelines. Do you have any other thoughts, Rob, or anybody, in terms of bringing in some business, using new home sales, builders, neighborhoods, new home communities as a way to bring in some more leads for your business? Any thoughts on that? Anybody? Rob? Anybody?
Yeah, I reached out to a builder. We don't have a whole lot of new construction, but we've got several right now, about 3 going up. And I talked with the builder. First, I talked with the actual seller or the representative, and then she got me in touch with the marketing director for those people, and she gave me permission in writing. But the full disclosure was I couldn't use their logo, I couldn't do anything like that, but I could describe the homes and the locations and things like that. And she's like totally fine with that. Just anything that you are going to post on social media, send it over to me for approval.
One of the things I've done in the past is I do like to go out and meet different new home salespeople since I was in the industry, and I like to kind of keep in touch with where the new homes are being built and who's going to be out there. And because I was in the industry for a while, I know a lot of new home salespeople that are still in the industry. So I just go in and I let them know, because a lot of times their builder will not take a contingency, okay? But they have clients that come into their new home sales office that before they can move forward, they have a home to sell. So I just go in, talk with my friend, or my acquaintance, leave them my cards, let them know I'd be happy to help you make your next sale by selling your client's old home so that they can buy your new home. And a lot of times I'll get referrals from new home salespeople that say, yeah, this client's ready, but they have a home to sell and they need to get rid of it.
That's exactly what I was thinking. A lot of these agents on site don't have referral partners, and the builders don't let them do resale properties. And so to build, just like we do open houses on Sundays for our resale homes, like these model homes are open all week. Just make it part of your business plan that you're going to visit a new model every week, during the week. Just plan a day and go start building relationships with these on-site agents and become the referral partner for all the resale, especially when you're in a little bit higher price where it's going to be a move-up buyer, most likely buying that new construction, right? They're going to most likely have a home to sell. And then the other thing, Jeff, to your question is, while you're going around meeting all these new construction people, building relationships, find out what incentives they're all offering for their buyers, and go find 10 different builders in the local area that are offering incentives, and then do a KV Core post, reach out to me, whatever you want, whatever you would say, reach out for a list of the top 10 builders or 10 builders offering buyer incentives. One of them is even offering a 5.99 rate if they're doing a buy now or something, right? So get out there and meet all these new construction people. It's a huge area that I've thought many years, like it's such an untapped area. So I love what you're doing today, Rob. It's such an tapped area for us as agents to go build these relationships and do the things that Rob was talking about today, and that we're talking about right now, getting the resale business. That the buyer wants to buy that house, but they've got they got one to sell. Sure. And or find out what incentives they're offering, start promoting, new construction, top 10 new construction or 10 new constructions that are offering, great incentives. Reach out for the list.
But here's my thing, reach out for the list, but also just create a landing page, and the list is behind the landing page. But now you get the lead.
Yeah.
They don't have to reach out to you because they don't want to talk to a realtor, but they will fill out, their email and phone
Yeah.
number, or just their email, whatever you require, on the landing page. And behind that landing page, it's taking them to the list of builders, or, whatever, there's so many ways you can work. The free list of, you could do a search on your MLS of brand new homes that are on the market right now. Like, put in there built in 2024, and have a list, a free list of brand new homes, whatever, but put it behind a landing page. So you're not just giving it away. Real quick, I do want to show you guys and just remind you of this. Let me share my screen here real fast. Because for all of you, if you go into Workplace, okay, this is for all of you that are part of EXP. If you go into Workplace, go to Freedom Team, right? Click on our Freedom Team group. Click right here where it says Learning. It'll take you to 2 different guides. This first one right here, Get More Transactions. This is the recording of all these Tuesday masterminds. The one that we're on right now will be up later today, okay? When you go there, you can start scrolling down. There's last week, Don Yoakum. If you scroll down here, all the recordings we've done, every Tuesday's in here. But right here, this is from, I don't know, a month ago, whatever. Tharmila came in, Landing Page Mastery. And if you go back and watch this recording, it will walk you through step by step by step exactly how to set up any kind of landing page you want to set up. Don't just give the information away, put it behind a landing page. And once you do this, guys, you could build this in 10 minutes. It's done. And now you've got something that's there forever that you could post on Facebook, LinkedIn, your business page, Google, all kinds of stuff. And now you're going to bring leads in, but you could do it with everything that Rob talked about today, and do it with these new builds and new construction. But it's a way to pick up leads instead of just giving it all away and hoping that they call you, which they're not going to, most likely, But it's good to talk to some of your clients, and anybody that's thinking about doing new builds. And there's ways to educate them so that they don't just go in that office by themselves without you on a Sunday afternoon when you haven't heard from them for this week. And next thing you know, they're under contract on a home and you're not part of the deal. Because I've had that happen. We've all had that happen. And dang it. When that happens.
Even all the things you taught today, Rob, it's like the top 5 reasons, top 10 reasons why you need a realtor when you're buying new construction. Create the landing page, have the list, like there's a million ways to take all this information you've taught and just create some great landing pages, for that. You had
For sure.
mentioned that in your buyer consultation, you talk about the 100 or more
Moving
things
pieces.
that happen during the transaction. Do you have a list of that you give your clients that you'd be willing to share with Jeff to put on our
We do have a list, the real estate transaction in 181 steps, what your realtor does for you.
But yeah, if you'd be willing to share that, that would be amazing.
That'd be great, Becky. If you could share that, and then also those 15 questions, Rob. And then what I'll do, guys, is I'll post that when I post in here in Workplace later today. I will post the links to those that after they send them to me as well. We'll get those guys to you. Okay. Kathy, I'm gonna let you take it. I have another Zoom I got to jump on.
Okay.
But Rob, thank you very much. Guys, have a great day. Okay, Kathy, I'll let you wrap things up. If there's any other comments or questions, I see a couple others here in the chat. Cool.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Anybody else have a final question here? Where do I find this? So I think Jeff just showed that. Any other questions for Rob or Becky before they wrap up? And like Jeff said, we appreciate you sharing. This has been great.
Do you have?
Yeah,
any
so-
other- Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, thanks, Paul. Yeah, so I'm new to this whole group, so I was just wondering, where is that Workplace that he was talking about? I know he showed it, but I'm
Are you
techno,
part of
not techno
EXP
savvy.
yet, Kimberly?
I will be here in a couple weeks.
Okay, so once you become part of EXP, then you'll have access to Workplace. It's for EXP agents, and there's not a way that me or Jeff could even share it. It's confined to EXP only. It's not like a public thing that, hey, we could still share it with you. So
Right,
when
but
you're part of EXP, then you will have access to Workplace, and there's a group in there called Freedom Team, which is our group. And so that's where, and then you'll be able to go back and review all this stuff.
So
So-
once I get on, they'll tell me where to find that Workplace.
Yep. And once you're on board, you're going to get a lot of emails, just to be honest with you. Once you're on board, once you're fully onboarded, then just say, hey, can somebody direct me to Workplace if you haven't, figured it out.
Okay,
but you
perfect.
got to be on board before we can direct you there.
Rob,
Awesome.
did
I
you
appreciate
share-
that. Thank you.
Rob, did you share the top 10, like if we were gonna create a landing page to have a squeeze page behind it? Do you have like a list of the top, like, hey, new home buyers, here are the top 10 things you should know, or something along those lines to show credibility that you know what you're talking about?
Yes, and we can share those with y'all.
Okay, cool.
Y'all, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else? All right. Well, good stuff today, Rob and Becky. Thank you guys for just being willing to pour in. Like Jeff said, starting out, I just love how EXP, we just collaborate and we're all willing to tell everything. And, the better we are together as agents, the better the company does. Theoretically, the better the stock does. So, so it's such a great platform. And I just love how we collaborate together. And talking about collaborating, tomorrow is our Connect to Collaborate that we have with the Freedom Team. And it's from 10 to 11 Central Time. So same link. So y'all come. It's an open mastermind connection, collaboration. We talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. We can continue conversations about new construction and anything else. So y'all come back tomorrow. And let's mastermind and connect, and we will see you guys then. Y'all have an awesome day. Thank you again, Rob. Appreciate you. And
Thanks,
you
that
so
was
much.
good stuff.
yes,
Thank
it
you so
was.
much.
Thank y'all.